What's going on, guys? I'm Icy Rhythms. Welcome back to another video. And in this one, we are talking several different things, including Sony not supporting, at launch at least, 1440p with the PlayStation 5. Now, this isn't like a massive deal, right? But I do think at some point Sony will support the resolution if enough people are asking for it. And I think that enough people have already made that very clear. And now we have several articles and many people making videos already on this topic. So I think it's clear that it's something people want. Is it, like 10% of their current user base or something that are asking for it? Probably not. It's probably less than, 5 or 6%. But some people would like this resolution, and it's crazy because some of their exclusives are rendered in 1440p, and it's just something you think they would have done a long time ago on the PS4 or even the PS4 Pro. Now, if we listen to some parties that have tried to convince me in recent memory that this isn't an easy fix, it's not as easy as you may think, as if Sony needs to contact NASA and their top astrophysicists or something to come over and help them calculate and find ways to implement a simple resolution into their settings for their new console, the PlayStation 5. These people have also tried to convince themselves, as well as me, that, there aren't really a lot of people, if anyone, that really care about having 1440p on the console. When you can look at social media, you can look at things like Reddit alone over the years since the PlayStation 4 and especially the PlayStation 4 Pro released, that people do want this. They want Sony to support this resolution, and the fact that we have videos for it now, I'm talking about it now. Not that it will matter too much in the end, because eventually I think we can all agree a lot of us do play some of the console games on a TV. But there are situations, many situations, at least in my case, where I would prefer to play consoles on my monitor just for setup purposes, recording purposes, review purposes. I do reviews on this channel. It's a big part of what I do. Reviewing games on this channel is huge for me. So for someone like me, maybe you could understand why it's a big deal. But for the vast majority, 1440p is not even a thing. You got probably 720p, the majority at 1080p, and 4K is obviously a really big deal now. And now we have Sony already, well, they've been talking about it, and Microsoft has mentioned it as well. We have them discussing 8K, a resolution that at this stage is more irrelevant than 720p. And we're talking about 8K, and you can't even get your console to launch with 1440p, which is a very, very common resolution. I don't know if it's laziness. I don't know if it's complete incompetence or just a major oversight by Sony. But again, some of their exclusives render at 1440p, and you would just think that this would be something that they would have done a long time ago. It's nothing that can't be remedied. It's nothing that Sony themselves can't fix, they can't implement. I'm sure at some point they will. I know that some people have tried to tell me that, 1440p, the reason they don't support it is because they want people to go out and buy 4K TVs, specifically their 4K TVs, which would make sense because if I buy a Samsung or I buy an LG, Sony's not going to get any money for that anyway. So, I think that's probably what most people are buying. I don't know if Sony is selling tons and tons of TVs anymore. To be honest, I thought maybe Sony would have got out of the TV business. Just my personal take. A lot of their products, and it used to be, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of their products, and it used to be TVs included, weren't really doing all that well. And the brand, the product that does really well for them these days is obviously the PlayStation brand. So trying to convince me, or I think at this point it's more people trying to convince themselves that Sony won't support 1440p because they want you to go out and buy their TVs doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, because last I checked, they're still supporting like 480, 720, and 1080. And you can say, well, I see that's because they don't want to leave people that are using those resolutions behind. Okay, exactly. You answered your question. You answered my question for me. They don't want to leave people that are using other resolutions that aren't 4K and that aren't Sony TVs behind. We got that? We clear? Okay, good. This isn't rocket science. That's not what we're doing here. You know, we're not trying to get Sony to contact NASA or anything. This is more so for them to understand that there are people, many people, this is a very common resolution, that would like to see this. I for one, would like to see this. Hopefully, it's something that even Nintendo will catch on to at some point with a later console down the road. Microsoft, for many years now, even dating back to the Xbox 360, has supported a ridiculous amount of resolutions. And I remember having, I think it's their proprietary VGA cable for the Xbox 360, and using that thing because not only could you select a ridiculous number of resolutions, things like 1366 by 768 or even less than that, but you could get better input. It was like more responsive than using the HDMI cable at that time. But that's for a whole other conversation. Sony, people want 1440p. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but there is a market for it. There is a demand there, and I can't see any reason why you shouldn't implement this, 6 months to a year from now or less. Again, I think it's time. Sony, it's time. Some of your exclusives render in this resolution. Make it make sense for me, Sony. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all the continued support. If you haven't seen my latest review for Resident Evil Remake, go and check that out. It was my last video. I just uploaded it yesterday. Thank you guys for watching. Take care. Peace.